This is a presentation for ALCAP Purifier. Module 1, Chapter 1 and 2, we had learned about the purifier and clarifier. Here we learn about ALCAP. What is an ALCAP purifier? All right, let us go ahead, see, and learn about ALCAP. It makes sense for you to know who is the person talking with you, giving lecture to you, or instruction, or teaching you. So this is a brief about myself, my experience, which has been there in this maritime field. Actually, this is the only area of work I've been involved since the time I passed my college days. All right. I hope you enjoy this course. Thank you. When you heard the term LCAP, what does came to your mind? What is the first thought you got? What is LCAP? LCAP is nothing but it's an acronym for A for alpha, L for level, C is clarifier, A and purifier. Alpha, level, clarifier, and purifier. That is ALCAP. That means a separator which runs as a clarifier normally, but operates as a purifier. If more water is present in the oil, it becomes purifier. And then again it starts working as a clarifier. So this is what is ALCAP. All right. It is nothing something extraordinary out of the world. It is same purifier or same separator, not purifier, it is a separator. Works as a clarifier and a purifier both as per the situation demands. Okay. So we had learned about purifier and clarifier in module 1. We know the purifier has two outlets for purified oil and for separated water. In clarifier, we have only one outlet and there is no gravity disk and we use a clarifier disk. So if we do not, there is a question for you. If we do not have a clarifier disk on board and need to run a purifier as a clarifier, what do we do? Yes, you remember correctly. Use a gravity disk with the smallest diameter. We also know that in a clarifier there is only one outlet, and that is for the purified oil. So this is the basic, just for your just to remind you. Now we go ahead further. Suppose we run a purifier with a clarified disk and keep the water outlet shut, because purifier does have a water outlet, but we keep it shut. A valve is closed. What will happen? What do you think? What happens to the interface position? What happens to the purified oil? What happens to the water in the dirty oil being purified? There can be different scenario. So there will not be any interface since we are not using a gravity disk. We are using a clarified disk. We are not supplying any sealing water. So initially there is no interface. And we do not expect there to be large amount of water to be there in the oil, which is being purified. Some water might be there, but not large enough to be separated. All right. Because some of the separation of the water is take place in settling tank as it is. And too much amount of water is not supplied by the bunker supplier. Yes, some water is there. So we do not supply any sealing water in this ALCAP purifier. So there is no interface. Purified oil will flow out from the oil side. That means separated oil. Will not call it purified, we'll call it separated oil, will flow out of the oil side in the ALCAP purifier. It will work as a clarifier and separated out oil and sludge. Sludge will be separated out normally. On the disk track, some of the sludge particle will settle down and some of the sludge particle will be thrown out by the force of centrifugal and will be stuck on the side of the ball periphery. Clear? Now, what happens to the water which actually separates out from the dirty oil? Some water particles must be there. Some water is there in the dirty oil which we are trying to purify, or in a ALCAP purifier. Yes, it will start flowing out from the purified oil along with the oil, because water has no place to go out. Water outlet is closed. We do not want this. This is an unwarranted situation. So what we do? So We run a purifier with a clarifier disk and keep the water outlet shut like a normal purifier. Let's say with a solenoid valve. Instead of a physical manual valve, we put a solenoid valve, which will remain closed. So no water is coming out because the water outlet side is closed. This solenoid valve can be opened up or will be opened if the system senses water in the purified oil. If we put a sensor in the oil outlet, which senses the amount of water in the oil, and it opens the solenoid valve on the water outlet. So the water will come out from there. Isn't it? Correct? No? Interesting? Yes. Let us put a sensor in the oil outlet now, which senses if traces of water are flowing out with the oil. And when it senses traces of water, the water outlet valve is open. Of course, with the control system, control signal, etc. Now the clarifier start working as a purifier. Isn't it? What fun. This is what is ALCAP Purifier. 3GS. Okay. This is what we have. A clarifier, a separator which works as a clarifier and start working like a purifier when there is a water in the oil and is sensed by the oil particles coming out from the oil side. So actually in this kind of separator, there is no overflow. Isn't it? Very good. Consider up to you what you want to do, but it makes sense for the welfare of the seafarer community. All right, but it's entirely up to you. We have a clarifier which becomes a purifier when the amount of water increases and the water droplets are sensed in the purified oil. Then, and once the water has been pumped out, the automation system, signal control system will close this wall in the water outlet side again, is close it, and it becomes clarifier again. So when the water is discharged, it becomes clarifier. Water is found, the water accumulated water is quite a bit of water is accumulated. Water side opens, water valves open, it becomes a purifier. Great. So this is the basic principle of ALCAP: alpha level, clarifier, and purifier. Very simple. So naturally, this operation need to be carried out with some control system. So now the new latest control system are used are microprocessor based EPCs, called electronic programmable controller. So some number they have they call it EPC 400. The 400 is just a number. EPC, electronic programmable controller. They all are microprocessor based. So purifier is run using the EPC controller start button. When a purifier has picked up speed, small amount of conditioning water is supplied to the water. Remember, it's not the sealing water, it's conditioning water. And what is the purpose of conditioning water? It keeps the actually sludge, which is accumulated on the sides of the purifier is a bit purifier bowl, a bit moist. Otherwise, this sludge will become kind of solidified and it will be so hard to remove. It will not, when with the centrifugal force, when the bowl opens, this sludge will not come out, or only some sludge will come out. So this conditioning water keeps it kind of moist. It does not allow it to get adhered to the side of the bowl it doesn't become so hard. So kind of loose it remains. So that is the purpose of conditioning water. Remember, ALCAP does not use any sealing water, and there is no requirement of the oil-water interface. There is no requirement. Okay. Purpose of this conditioning water is to keep sludge from the dirty oil to be kept moist, so that it is easier to be discharged during the cycle. Oil to be purified is supplied from the inlet. So conditioning water outlet I have shown you here. Remember, it is not the sealing water, it's the conditioning water. All right. And this one you will say is the valve which senses and keeps the water closed, water drain valve closed. When the water is sensed, it will open. Otherwise, it will keep closed. All right. ALCAP purifier runs as a clarifier and separates the sludge from oil supply. Okay. Sludge from the oil supply. That's all it does. Accumulated sludge is discharged periodically. At the time you can decide, you can choose. And having been kept moist with the conditioning water. So sludge does not get stuck, get stuck to the side of the ball, and it remains kind of loose. ALCAP uses a flow control disc and is fitted at the same place where water gravity disc is fitted in the conventional purifier. Flow control disc. Inner diameter of the flow control disc is equivalent to the clarifier disc. That is kind of clarifier disc with the smallest diameter of the kind of gravity disc, the smaller diameter, like we use in a clarifier disc. The hole represents the diameter of the large gravity disc. All the water which gets separated out in the ALCAP must pass through the hole. Okay. So it's a flow control disc, but there is a small hole in it. I'll show you now. Next slide. Okay. That hole represents the diameter of a large gravity disc. Because remember, we decided, we have learned that highest size gravity discs to be used for most efficient purification. All right. Same for that same purpose, that hole represents the larger size of the gravity disc. So this is the flow control disc in which the inner diameter is actually equal to the diameter of the clarifier disc. That is a smaller size gravity disc kind of. And you see the small hole. This diameter represent equivalent to the large size of the gravity disc. Because this works as a purifier, clarifier both. So this is the purpose of this. So it is a kind of gravity disc, but we call it flow control disc. All right. So after every discharge cycle, when the sludge is discharged, oil feeding is stopped. No more. The automatically when the discharge cycle ends, discharge valve has to open. When the sludge need to be discharged, oil coming to the purifier will stop naturally. Because if you continue to feed, that oil will also come out. So ball opening water enters, opens the ball, and sludge is discharged. When the sludge is discharged, then the closing water will enter and the ball is closed. Then the small amount of conditioning water from the side, which we had shown you in the earlier slide, will enter, and then there is a small amount of water, so that water will remain to the on the periphery of the ball, and then the feed valve will open and oil will start being fed to the purifier again, ALCAP purifier. Okay. So now is it dirty oil which need purification does contain some amount of water, but it can be considered, maybe considerably higher or lower, depends on the bunker supplier. But ISO 128-17, other than 2015 standard, requires water percentage the bunker supplied must not exceed 0.5%. But sometimes you may have more, or your heating coil might have leaked in your bunker tank, possibly. Now, when the dirty oil which need to be purified is being sent to the purifier, so during this process, amount of water collected may increase or decrease. No, cannot decrease. May increase somewhat and will accumulate towards the periphery of the ball. Keep collecting. Since there is no oil-water interface, there is no interface. Water outlet is also closed. Level ring cannot push this water out. Even if the water reaches the level ring, water cannot be pumped out because the valve is closed. The water droplet in this case will start mixing with the clean oil, which is being pumped out through the water side. Pumped out through the oil side. And there is a transducer fitted. Water sensing transducer. So water droplets contained in the clean oil are sensed by the water sensing transducer fitted in the oil outlet. Correct. So water droplet in the oil changes the dielectric constant of the transducer. This is the principle of operation that you can learn separately also. So basically it senses. Now once it knows that water is coming out from the oil side, then it will act what is supposed to, whatever is programmed to do. And what it is programmed to do? Yeah, this is the transducer fitted. It will start sensing water particles are there in the oil. What is supposed to do? What it will do? It will send a signal that large amount of or comparatively water particles are coming into the oil side. That means enough amount of water has been collected in the purifier bowl. All right, it's time to open the water side wall. Correct. Okay, now let's see what happens next. Now, when the amount of water droplets sensed as above by the transducer, there will be some value which is pre-programmed, decided by the EPC controller. Hmm. It will open the water drain wall, the water side wall, and the water is pushed out by the level ring or the pairing disk. Level ring, as I told you last year, the earlier chapter, that it acts as a pump because where the impeller is not moving, but the liquid is moving. The effect is same as if the impeller was moving because there is a relative motion between the liquid and the impeller. Well, but impeller is fixed in this case. So this is pumped out. When the ALCAP is running with water outlet closed, what happens to the water accumulated in the pairing chamber? Wouldn't it get overheated? Yes, something to think about. Yes, since the level ring cannot pump the water out because the water outlet is closed, water will get overheated. What to do? So to avoid this, level ring is provided with holes for recirculating this water. Yeah, very brilliant idea. Correct, no? So there are holes provided in the water pairing disk, water level ring. So ensure the water does not get overheated. There's small hole. Let us see. One, you see the enough amount of water has been generated, is produced, and the water particle has started coming into the oil side and maybe accumulated in the going our water which is going out. A transducer is sensing it. The level ring, water level ring, this is being full level pairing chamber is full of water, and because water is rotating, its water might be getting heated up. So we need to do something about it. Let us see what we do. Water outlet is still closed. Now is the time the water outlet to be open. Water outlet will open, but there will be some delay. Process will take some time. And will they have enough water is accumulated, then only it will open. It cannot keep opening every 1 minute, every 2 minutes, or every 5 minutes. There is some pre-programmed timing, so that so much water has accumulated, then only it will open. Okay. Pairing disk does not have these holes in the normal purifier, but in ALCAP purifier, water pairing disk will have these holes. You can see these holes. Hmm? Water pairing disk has these holes, which permits recirculation of the water back to the flow control disk. When the water outlet valve is closed, so it will keep recirculating. Of course, it will, if it, for hours together, water side valve doesn't open, this whole water will get overheated. But the delay is not that much. But that circulation is enough to keep the water cool. This keep the water temperature under check, and the temperature does not rise too high in the water pairing chamber. Water drain wall normally is kept closed, making ALCAP a clarifier in operation. So while running, it is running as a clarifier. But water is coming into the water pairing disk. If enough water is there, it will circulate pass through this hole and recirculate so that water does not get overheated. You remember in the boiler circulating pump, hmm, or the feed water, it takes section from the feed water tank and sent to the boiler, not feed water, not feed water circulating pump. It takes suction from the hot well, cascade tank, and sending to the feed wall. But water will enter the boiler only when the feed wall opens. So that this water does not get overheated, there is small line going back to the hot well. You go and check your own ship, isn't it? That is exactly the same purpose. These holes also play the same role. Okay. Now we have seen how an ALCAP purifier works. It runs as a clarifier, and when substantial amount of water is separated out, and some water droplets go out with the clean oil, it is sensed by the water transducer fitted in the oil outlet, and EPC, electronic programmable controller, microprocessor based, opens the water outlet valve. This water is pumped out by the level ring, and water outlet valve is closed again, and the ALCAP start working as the clarifier once again. Conditioning water, which was added before starting the ALCAP, remains present on the periphery of the bowl and keep the sludge moist, making it easier to discharge it. All right, so this comes to the end of the ALCAP Purifier small introduction course, just to make you a basic understanding of the basic ALCAP. Other thing you have to read whenever on board your ship. I hope you liked the course, enjoyed the course. Thank you very much. Have a good day.